Hey guys, at TFL we're really fortunate to have access to not only cool cars but the people who actually design and build these cars. So when a Colorado-based YouTube channel called Lightbright recently did a video called The Top 5 Things We Hate about the Wrangler Rubicon JLU, I thought, why not ask the chief engineer about those 5 criticisms, because we're fortunate enough to be able to do that. So coming up right now, we're going to do an answer to that video. And by the way, the link to that video, if you want to see it, is right below. I want to ask you, what does the chief engineer do? This is your baby, right?
Yeah, this is my baby. So all the technical aspects of the vehicle, I need to make sure it's meeting all the customer requirements. So voice of the customer is heard, and we pull all that together to meet all the functional objectives that we kind of set forth, whether it be drivability, fuel economy, off-road capability, and
but basically all the guys who work on this and gals report to you, right? So at the end of the day, this is your baby.
This is my baby,
right?
Yep.
you probably know every nut and bolt on this guy because you sweated every nut and bolt.
Yep.
And you've tested it
around
the world.
We've tested it all over the world. So we've been the American Southwest, northern Michigan mud. We've been Alaska, very cold. We've been Arizona, very hot. New Zealand, Australia. So we've been all over.
One of the things you pride yourself is on listening to your customers.
Absolutely.
But as a journalist, it kind of felt like I want to give you guys a chance to answer the questions that this video braces.
Sure,
Okay?
certainly.
All right, so let's start with number 1. She hated the fact that the windshield cracks too easily. And she suggested that you guys should use Gorilla Glass. Was there any thought given to that?
So not really the glass that we use.
Yeah.
We test it. So I mentioned the 3.9 million miles of development we tested on road. We tested off-road. We do all the development on the glass to make sure the stress and strain on there is appropriate. So would it give an additional benefit over what we already have? Probably not. Part of it is just the overall shape of this windshield, right?
It's flat.
Part of what makes a Wrangler is the fact that it has a more stood up windshield. It doesn't have the wrap on it that you'll see in a lot of SUVs. That plays into it.
All right, number 2, skid plates catching on rocks. Holes in the crossmember. So easy for Jeep to put a flat panel under there and call it a day, she said. Why are there holes in the skid plates and why not a flat panel?
So when we design those, one is lightweighting. We want to make sure it's optimal. We have done thorough testing. We've done more off-roading than most everybody else in very severe conditions, and it's met all of our functional objectives and our criteria. So there's a lightweighting aspect, there's a manufacturability aspect, but we put the strength in those skid plates that they meet what they need to if you're driving in an appropriate manner.
Yeah, I think she, in the video, had the idea that you should put a plate underneath.
Yeah, so the whole solid underneath, there's a few things you have to think about. One is the weight. So this thing would weigh as much as a tank. That would be really heavy. The other one, there are other aspects besides just the protection aspect. There's heat coming up under there, right?
That too, yeah.
So you've got an engine producing heat, you've got an exhaust. You have to make sure everything remains cool and you're not over-temping anything underneath the vehicle from what it was designed for. So something like that in an aftermarket, sure, you could do that for the people that need it, for the 0.25% of people that would really need it. But again, we've done testing all over the world in off-road, whether it be mud, Midwest off-road tight trails, or rock crawling throughout Utah, Arizona, and on the Rubicon Trail. We have not had issues.
So she kept coming back to the statement, it's a Rubicon, right? Rubicon. And I kind of felt like that was like saying that a Hellcat should be able to keep up with an Indy car because it's a Hellcat, right? I mean, if you want a rig that is going to be able to do, let's say, Carnage Canyon, which is one of the places they went in Colorado, right? You're probably going to want a built rig.
One thing that we wanted to do was make sure this had a really good balance of on-road, everyday driving capabilities with the off-road aspect. This Rubicon, and you'll see it tomorrow, you're going to go in a production, drive it out of the dealership, go on the Rubicon Trail, and you're going to go over every single obstacle, and you will pass vehicles that are built, lifted, big wheels and tires. This will do all those same things, but then you're going to leave and you're going to drive off and you're going to go and drive back to this hotel to this resort, and you're going to be on road, and it's going to be awesome. It's not going to shake you. It's not going to beat you up as you're driving. Because we did. This has become a family vehicle too. There are people that this is their husband, wife, and kids sitting in the back vehicle. So we had to make sure we were covering everywhere from the people that want to go very extreme. So we designed the vehicle so that it could be upgraded very easily for the people that want to put the 4-inch lift and the 37s up to 42s on it. We can do those things. We gave it kind of that blank sheet that people can modify as they want to make it their own, but it's super capable in stock form. Sport, Sahara, and Rubicon. Actually the first vehicle that we had that we went off-roading with wasn't a Rubicon, it was a Sport, because that was the first one available for us to take. So that's the first thing that went on heavy off-roading.
So number 3 is right there. License plate brackets. Stupidest designed ever. I quote, "This should not be here." People are saying that this comes off too easily, it's too low.
Yeah, so you've got the spare tire there, so there's only so many places that you can go and legally have your license plate position. So this was the right location. From a protection standpoint, sure, you could get in conditions where you can rip off anything on this vehicle if you hit it the wrong way. We haven't had too many instances like they saw. I'll admit it came off for them.
Yeah.
But we have it reasonably protected.
Okay.
We have it pretty well.
Number 4 has to do with the rear bumper. They say that it buckles too easily.
So we designed the bumper so it's very stout. Yeah. I don't know the exact number. Again, we had functional criteria that we set up for what it needs to meet based off our customers, based off historic of what a Jeep needs to meet, and it meets all of those.
And then, of course, people can buy aftermarket.
Absolutely.
Which is very popular.
Absolutely.
All right, next one, and this is actually something that we've had to do, reinforce the tailgate because of the weight of the wheels.
So that was another design feature. We wanted to make sure not only could you put this on, but you could put a 35-inch wheel and tire on here for the weight.
Okay. All right, the next one's over this way. This is number 5. It has to do with the TPMS, the tire pressure monitoring system. Light comes on. Is that a government thing? Or?
There's a government, so we have to turn that on because we have to protect our customer. If their tire pressure is getting low, people are driving these at interstate speed, so it has to be able to be stable for those people. So we have to warn them when it's on.
So that's something that is a safety issue.
That's one of the things we always have to look out for, the safety of our customers. So if the pressure gets too low, we need to let them know that it's too low.
So that was number 6 of the top 5. Number 7 is auto stop start. Every time you restart it, it turns itself back on.
Yep. So we have the button that enables.
You can turn it off.
You can turn it off. You have to do it every time you start.
Yep.
We do disable it in 4 low conditions. So if you go into 4 low, we don't go into a start stop condition, because absolutely when you're sitting on a rock and you come to a stop, the worst thing possible would be the engine shuts off, because that would be a little uncomfortable for a customer.
Number 8, we're talking about the fender clips. I quote, "Cheap plastic fender clips from JK. Fender hits something, it will break."
So the idea is the fender itself meets the criteria, so it doesn't break.
Yeah.
So there needs to be a weakest point somewhere.
Yeah.
Would you rather this crack in half and you have to replace the whole fender, or the clip gives and this just pops off and it's a 50-cent clip and you can put it right back on?
So basically it's done to protect the fender or the body. All right. And the last one, number 9, fan, I quote once again, "Insanely loud, jet fighter taking off." Why is the fan so loud?
So we designed the fan so it cools, so it's got to meet the cooling capacity of the engine, the transmission, so it's going to make sure the oil is cool. Your AC, so if the head pressure gets too high, we need to make sure the fan comes on. So we're always looking for ways to refine that and make sure that we are meeting all the criteria, so we're not doing any over temps. The customer is very comfortable with when their AC is on, and all the components are cool. So the fan comes on as needed.
I wanted to give you guys a chance to kind of answer these questions because I know that the customers are important to you because this is such a tight community.
Absolutely.
So do you take these criticisms and you take them back to the drawing board? What do you do with them?
Oh, anytime somebody complains,
Yeah.
whether it's on YouTube, I think this vehicle more than any other has the blogs, and people are very open. And honestly, when we sit down to figure out what is it we need to do for either when we redo the whole thing like we did with JL, or whether we put refinement actions in, we start to look and see what do customers not like, what isn't there. We do a lot of customer clinics, and we see what does a customer, what do they expect out of the Jeep. So we want to certainly listen to those people. I mentioned in the presentation we were given, this vehicle has a cult following, and when you start to piss off the core and the people that really love it, you have a problem. So you start to kill it from the inside out at that point. So we're always going to listen to our customers. So any of the feedback they give, certainly we're going to go back to the drawing board and look at that.
So there you have it, the top 5, or is it 9 things that Lite-Brite hates about the Jeep, asked of the chief engineer. Let us know what you think in the comments below, because we take your viewing and your questions very seriously. As always, this is Roman. Thanks for watching, and check out tflcar.com for more news, views, and of course, Jeep Rubicon. Coming up very soon, Rubicon Trail reviews. See you guys next time. Ciao.